Hello everyone, thank you for joining me on my very first video with a new camera, so please bear with me. I will try to keep from making everyone dizzy. This in front of us is a 1995 Ford Mustang 5.0 and it has a radiator leak. The number one failure of the aluminum and plastic radiators is the plastic tank on the top radiator hose side will usually crack sometime in the life of the vehicle, and you can either replace with a new radiator, or the plastic tank can be replaced, saving you money. I have over 300 in stock ready to go and still don't have enough to cover everything that comes in the door. This will save you money over the replacement radiator from your local box shop. Just check your pricing and check with your local radiator shop to make sure that you're saving money, and most of the time you will save enough money to have it repaired instead of replaced, and they're usually good for years and years to go after that. So in my opinion, it is a good choice, and anytime we save money, it's a good choice. I had already taken this one loose and was about to pull it out, and I thought, well shoot, why don't I make a video of this? I had been wanting to for a long time, and so I thought I might as well jump in there, and so here we are. I have reassembled everything to walk us through it, and the good thing is it won't take as long, and so maybe we'll have you out under the hood of your car in no time. To start with, you can either drain the system or just start removing the stuff at the top. I hate to go under a vehicle, so I usually start at the top and work my way down to the drain plug, and that's what I'm going to do here. I don't bend and maneuver like I did when I was younger, so I try to stay on my feet as much as possible. The first thing you want to do is take your radiator cap off. Make sure that it is not pressurized. Hot antifreeze leaves a nasty burn, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. The second thing is this overflow tube can come off. This one was held on with a zip tie, so I had to cut it to remove it, and sometimes they will just be pushed on, or we'll have a little clamp on it that you use pliers on, or it may have a hose clamp that you take loose with a screwdriver, and just pull it off and lay it to the side. And next, this plastic cover is held on with retaining clips. You can either use a straight screwdriver or a body trim tool, and just go up and under it like so. This one was missing several of its, and then these that were in it were very easy to get out. Another thing I like to do is I have magnetic trays that I like to keep my parts in, and I will put one on either side of the vehicle, and any screws that come off this side of the car goes in this pan, and anything that comes off over here goes in this one. That way, if there's a lot of them, and I kind of have a short memory, so if I forget where a bolt goes, it limits us on the amount of time searching for where this particular bolt goes. And one of the things I have ran into a lot is the bolts that hold the electric fan assembly on. If you put a bolt that is too long for that, it will punch a hole in the radiator tank and cause you to have to take it back out. So once you've got those retainer clips out, you can just remove this and set it to the side. And the next thing I did on this one was take the overflow jug out, the reservoir. And I live in Georgia. I'm a good old country boy, and so there's no telling what you'll hear come out of my mouth. And I'm sure you've already heard the accent. It can't be hidden, and so I might as well let you know up front. I'm just a good old country boy from Georgia. The next thing you want to do is these two bolts here are 8mm. You need to take them out. I thought I had that just hand tight, but it's wanting to be a problem coming out. And then this one, and this one is a 7mm. So you'll need a 7mm wrench or socket and ratchet to get that one off. Then this can be slid up out of the way, and then you can just pull this out. In the bottom it just has a little tab that sits down in a slot, so it's real easy to get out of the way. And just set it over somewhere. And I did not want to unplug this, just to keep it from being something that I might have a chance to miss later. So you can just roll it out of the way, and then I need the flashlight. Now you can see down in there to the drain plug. Let's see if I can pan in on that. Okay, that is a 3/4 inch head on the drain plug, or a 19mm, I believe. I had to use a wrench on this one because the spacing was very tight. I do apologize about the camera here. I'm having to learn how to use it. So you can go down now and take that off, or loosen it. It shouldn't be very tight. And when you go back in on it, be careful not to over tighten it, because it can break, and that's a very common thing I see with these. And if you do happen to break yours, I do sell these on my eBay store for just a couple of dollars. It's not a very expensive item and can get you fixed and back on the road in no time. And the next thing you want to do is there are two bolts that hold the fan shroud, the electric fan assembly on. Take those out, There goes my flashlight. I will probably need that later. And then the other one, hopefully you can see it, is right under this transmission line. Those are both 8mm. The only two sockets I used on this was an 8mm and a 7mm. So that is at least nice on that part. Next, I took the top radiator hose off and just slid it over out of the way. And this one had the original squeeze clamp on it, which most vehicles have these unless they've been replaced. I usually replace these with the regular clamps, and I've got two here ready to go for this one. You can either use a hose clamp tool, or this is the hose clamp tool. It has the end fits on these, and then you squeeze it, and you can do that without being down close to the clamp. It works really well for those on the bottom hose. And I also used the good old trusty wire pliers to take them loose with. I usually use this anywhere I can get to it real easily, and save this for the bottom hoses that are hard to get to. And we will be replacing those. These can lose their tension after so long, and one of the returns I've had here at my shop are for these to go bad and start leaking. So I just replace them and save my customers from having to deal with a leaky radiator. And so after I get that out of the way, just slide that back over to the side. It did that so much easier when I wasn't trying to make a video. And this air conditioner line fits in that little clip. Just take it loose, and it's hard to see right now, but the fan assembly has a plug, and normally they have a lock on them that you can just slide a screwdriver under and pop loose. This one has been broken, and there's another one of those wire ties, so I get to work on that a little later, make sure my nephew has no trouble with it. And at this point you can lift the fan shroud up and out, and set it to the side, and then you have the transmission lines. And I will need to recover my flashlight so we can see what's going on there. So I'm going to pause the video and go after the flashlight. Okay, I recovered the flashlight. Of course, it was in the center of the car, and I had to use a broom to slide it out, and had to get down there, which I hate to do, but by pausing the video I spared you all the noises I make trying to get back up off the floor. And now we can see what we've got. The transmission line has two different places that you'll need a wrench for. Try not to drop that again. And we have a 16 millimeter and a 13 millimeter. You will want to put the 13 millimeter there, and the 16 goes closer to the radiator, and then pull up on the 13 and use the 16 to keep the other nut still. Sometimes those will grow together, and if you try to do the 13 and this twists, you can damage your cooler on the inside of the radiator, and then you will most likely need to replace the radiator. So just take those loose. I've got the bottom one loose still, and the bottom hose is off. That's another reason to put the pan under, is to catch the fluid that comes out of the transmission cooler. And the squeeze clamp on the bottom is facing downward, so I did use that tool to take it off with. If you don't have access to that tool, you can either use the pliers under the car, or try to do so from this end. The next step is the brackets holding the radiator in. This side has two bolts here, and then this bolt here. I had to take it out to get the other bolt out. This bolt was actually blocking the one underneath, and there again, those are all 8 millimeters. And then this side over here is just one bolt, and then it's hooked on the core support here. Just lift up on it and twist it till it comes off. And then you have it to where you can probably see there is a crack right here above his hose connection, and I'm going to remove this radiator and put a new tank on it. And of course, while I've got it out, I'm going to rod it out, clean it inside and out, and recondition it to make sure he has no trouble with it. And then reverse, of course, is just in the opposite procedure. The big reason I left these till last is the brackets holding the radiator in. If you leave them to last, if you have any trouble with the hoses or transmission lines, the radiator is in place and won't move while you're trying to get those loose. And also, while we're talking about the hoses, sometimes they do grow together, and they do make a hose tool. Looks like a big pig, and you can